Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here from Yunzhoping at DreamHack Winter 2015. We just had our first game, a best of one, to decide if Empire or Vega would make it to the winner's bracket or to the lower bracket. And it was Empire that made it to the lower bracket with a best of one, and it was Vega that was victorious. And of course, with me on the panel, we have back Sinrin, Lumi, PPD, and Shane. Now, before I let you guys talk, I actually want to quickly take a look at the bracket to see where the team stand right now.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 there it is. So we have got ourselves a game upcoming. It's a best of one, and it will decide who will go up against Vega Squadron in the winner's bracket, which will be played right after this match. And it's going to be either 4 Clovers or Monkey Freedom Fighters, and the loser will be going up against Team Empire. After that, both of these series are, however, best of 3. So it's a best of one to decide who they will be playing up against. This best of one, expectations. Shane, what do you reckon?
I think this one's actually pretty much impossible to call. I'm going to say it's just going to be Clowny.
Okay.
And after the draft, I'll have more of an idea of what's going to happen.
Clowny?
Like yeah, definitely.
How is it going to be Clowny?
Well, Bambo's going to do crazy stuff. EGM was sitting beside me when we were watching the last game, and he was like, I'm going to kill them all. That's all he said. So
that's intense.
Yeah, that was actually crazy.
Would you agree, Lumi? Clowny stuff?
Yeah,
Are you
sure. I mean,
that?
the last time these two teams met up was, I think, the last day of DreamLeague, and they won 1-1. So I feel like both these teams are very similarly skilled. Clowny is one way to put it. They play very aggressive heroes. Heroes like Spirit Breaker, Bat Rider, which it seems like 4CL has been picking up. They have a very high win rate with that hero.
And they actually pick it for both Nikwa and from Bambo.
Bambo. And then there's that off-lane Tiny. You know, there's...
Bambo plays it all.
Just like random stuff, so who knows?
Who would you favor?
I don't know. I think 4 Clovers, to me, has looked a bit more solid. I believe it's also new. Is this the first time Monkey Freedom Fighters played with this roster?
At a LAN, yes.
At a LAN, yeah.
How many of the games have they played with? So let's see, what's the roster right now? Just to recap to be sure. It's Keizu, Kebab.
Not Keizu.
No, it's Monkey Freedom Fighters is Sing Sing.
Never mind. It's Demon, Sing Sing,
Arise,
Kebab,
Kebab.
and Yepsor. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, it's a very difficult team to predict how they're going to do in LAN. It's their first LAN together. I don't think Kebab has played a LAN in 3 years or so.
TI2.
TI2 was his last. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting story to see how they do. I do think 4 Clovers have been looking more stable overall, and they've stayed together a bit longer. Also favor them a bit in the draft. I think they have more options overall than MFF. I don't know if Clowny is the word I would choose for this matchup. I think aggressive is more like it.
Yes.
They will be fighting maybe even more than we saw in the last game.
Let's hope so. Will be fun to watch for sure. By the way, if you want to be kept up to date with all the games and the brackets throughout the entire day, you can always get the theScore eSports app on your phone. You can download it on Google Play or iTunes, and it is free. So make sure to check that one out. And also, you can still compete in the competition for a graphics card, Golden Edition from ASUS, Limited Edition rather, as it is the GTX 980, the gold one. And you can go to facebook.com/ROG Nordic, where you can fill in your MVP of this LAN final. So make sure to check that out as well. Last thing you can check out in all these breaks that we have as well, you can go to corsair.com/DreamHack15, where you can win. Lumi, what can you win?
Oh yeah, the ultimate gaming setup.
That one, yeah.
Is that it?
That was
That's nice.
I was gonna say like really good stuff, and then I was like, the ultimate gaming setup.
Yes. Don't forget, it is the ultimate gaming setup. 4 Clovers have been looking a lot more stable than Monkey Freedom Fighters. And Monkey Freedom Fighters hasn't had any official games since, like, apart from DreamLeague. So it's been a while since they've played. Does that give them a bit of an upset coming? Maybe slightly as an underdog. If you are gonna choose one, maybe 4 Clovers is the more stable team. Maybe Monkey Freedom Fighters is the more...
They actually just recently moved Nikwa to mid instead of Pycat. And Pycat, like, it depends on the hero. Like, I think there's like a Shadow Fiend where Pycat still plays mid. TA, Pycat still plays mid, but for most of the other heroes, Nikwa plays it. So there's I wouldn't even say they're more stable. I think they're still kind of changing it up, and they're still kind of finding their shoes.
Okay, Monkey Freedom Fighters is ready on a stage. We can take a look at them as they are getting prepared for their best of one. They're sitting on the left side. It was the side where Empire was sitting. Now, I'm bringing this up because last season, actually, there were most of the teams winning were on the same side, so we're going to find out if that's the case
really?
this time as well. Yes, Monkey Freedom Fighters, Demon, of course, on the corner. We're going to see a lot of Jimmy things, hopefully, because those are always fun to watch. Yapsor next to him, captain of the team.
He's actually a beast. His Night Stalker in the Dream League so far has just been amazing.
Yeah, support Night Stalker. I really like seeing that, and it fits their playstyle as well. Just a lot of fighting, a lot of aggression as well. Arise. Who apparently has a tendency to get lost, and they just get lost.
He's
At
my buddy.
airports.
We get lost together.
He can. He also, if he also tends to leave the airport without
Without his passport, I
without
remember.
passport. Yeah.
Kappa?
Kebab.
They misspelled his nickname and his last name. That's actually pretty impressive.
A lot of familiar faces. We haven't seen it at a LAN stage in quite a while, so
Yeah.
this should be an exciting match.
This looks correct though.
Sing.
Yes. Does indeed look correct. What do you think, PPD? Are they ready? Do they look ready?
Yeah, I mean, best of one, like we said. I'm not sure what to expect, but if I had to bet, I would say 4 Clovers. But I mean, I like this team. They're exciting to watch, that's for sure.
I guess they would be the team that would maybe do good in the best of one purely because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say anything about a best of one
yeah.
matchup. You have no idea who's gonna show up and who's not gonna
Especially
show up.
when you have someone like Arise that has like this kind of amazing Magnus, you know, you have to watch out for that. Maybe even like Meepo, like these kind of heroes, like Sing Sing can play that as well.
Oh,
I know
this
we've been
is
saying it the whole time. Sing Sing Kunka. I would like to see
Not
the
coming
Sing
back
Sing
now.
Kunka.
When's the last time we've seen a Kunkka picked?
Yeah.
Years.
What's
Actually, it wasn't you guys that picked it.
Yeah,
It was
Zai.
against IG.
There was a memorable game where
That was a
you got
PPD Kunkka, huh? Yeah, I remember
Wait,
that.
you played against IG? I remember IG playing it against you.
I played a support Kunkka
Yeah.
at some tournament. Didn't go
It was
well.
in ESL.
Frankfurters.
I'm not sure if it was.
It worked so well in practice. We just like lost one game with it, retired, never again.
It's a shame because I heard that the support Kunka is working out pretty okay for you, Louis.
Yeah,
In my pub games.
it works for
great.
me in pub games too. It's pretty good.
I love it. It's fun.
Okay. Well, pop games are something else entirely, of course. Also on stage is, of course, 4 Clovers, the favorites for this matchup, definitely. Also, a lot of familiar names in that team. Which player should we look out for most? Cinder?
I think the guy in the picture here has stepped up his game quite a bit. Nico was, of course, playing for Alliance for a short while, but was let go of. I think they didn't like his performance very much. I remember PPD with a tweet about that, so I guess you can bring that up if you want.
I'm okay.
But yeah, Nico, I think, is starting to play very well. I think the metagame fits him very well. A lot of the heroes that you mentioned, Bat Rider, I think his Slardar is very good. His Phoenix, we haven't seen so much. I hope we get to see Phoenix. It's one of my favorite heroes. It just doesn't get played very much right now. But he's some options, for sure.
He moved to mid though.
Yeah, but he still plays offlane sometimes, right?
He goes carry.
Okay,
No, it's carry and
wait a
mid.
second. So how many times have they swapped around? Because I saw them play a couple of weeks ago, and he played offlane Slardar, and Pycat played mid, and...
It's all over the place. I think.
Okay.
Now,
we'll see.
Bambo talking about all over the place.
Yeah, I think Bambo's the player to watch. He's
Yeah.
like a highly
That's
explosive player. So if he has a good game, yeah, I think that they're gonna
Quote-unquote
dominate.
It also depends a lot
land
on
player.
which hero he gets, though. Like, there's a big discrepancy if he gets a hero that he can actually do his Bambo plays on.
No, it doesn't matter. I think in an interview we had with a team, like all he says in team chat is like, go, 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 go. And he's like playing Darks here. He's like, I'll search you
EGM
in,
dropped the
just
hat
go.
too.
Yeah, EGM, TI champion right there. Not every team here has a TI champion, so 4 Clovers got that.
Maybe it's like not his final
It's
form.
like he's taking the gloves have come off. That's what he does with his hat, I think. It's
Damn.
very rare to see chill with that. But it's true though, like when you're looking at a team that has Bambo, it's difficult not to pick him as the player to watch, but you always pick Bambo as the player to watch, right? We have to say
Doesn't
someone
matter.
else.
Yeah.
There's a reason, man.
But yeah, it's true.
Now, hero or player rather, we kind of skipped out on when we were talking about Zonal. Saxa is actually been a very, very important player for their team. Very stable, very good performance. What's your opinion on Saxa?
Him and Pycat, the rock of the team, because sometimes when you go too hard, it doesn't go that well. You have somebody fall back on, and yeah, it's a very comfortable, I guess, person to lean back on when you have Saxa and Pycat.
I think Saxa was the first player in Europe to reach 8K MMR actually. He's not really being talked about in that club. You usually hear Miracle and
S4.
S4 reached it latest, I think. Miracle and Weeha, exactly, being talked about for that. I think Saxa got discovered because of his plays in public games, and 4CL gave him a shot. I think he's been performing very well. Stable is a good word for me. His Winter Wyvern and his Witch Doctor supports have been very, very good under pressure. So I think we might see one of those from him, and both heroes are very entertaining to watch.
And in this kind of matchup, are we expecting support rotations maybe early on? Are we going to see heavy fighting in the laning stage as well, or?
I think we'll see like a similar here like we did in the Vega matchup, like a Night Stalker or like maybe a support Tusk, and they'll get moving after like maybe the first rune or two.
Maybe a Bane as well.
I mean, yeah, Bane.
Bane is such a high contention pick lately.
I mean,
It's not my favorite. It's not the most exciting hero.
Just has like, he's just way too good to pass up right now. There's like no game where you're just like, yeah, Bane wouldn't work here.
But why wouldn't you then first ban him? Because we see him a lot because he's picked a lot.
You can.
Nobody bans
Just,
him.
I don't think a lot of these teams are exploiting Bane to the potential that he has to be exploited. Like you saw a lot of top teams at Frankfurt really just like abuse laning phase like as much as they could. If you pick a Bane like Cinder said, you can literally pick any other heroes you want and you can still come out okay during laning phase. So that's what the teams need to keep in mind if they're going to play that hero.
The reason Bane is so good right now is, of course, when it got changed so Brain Sap was a lot cheaper. When you look at the ability and you do the math, you're like, okay, it deals 90 damage for 70 mana. It's not incredible, but you also heal 90. So it's 180 damage exchange
The discrepancy.
for 70 mana, which is ridiculous. You compare any other single target ability level 1, doesn't come close.
On top of that, the hero has really high movement speed. He has like
Good
5
stats.
armor base. He has over 600 HP, like without branches. Like
He's incredible early game.
Yeah.
You can have
Everything
incredible
going.
rune control as well
Yeah.
with that.
yeah, you can
Nightmare's
always
good.
get the rune against another person.
Yeah. And if you are getting those regen runes, you can even brain stuff even more. More mana to do that with. How important is the focus on laning stage in this team, in this series?
I somehow have a feeling that no team is going to win the laning stage very hard. I think it's the first couple of team fights we're going to see minute 10 or later that will have a big impact. If any team wins the lane, it is probably, again, for me, 4CL. I think Saxa, with his range supports, tends to get quite a bit done. There is, of course, he also plays Bane, by the way, now that we're talking Bane. So he's, for me, the player to watch out for in the laning stage, and then if the laning stage goes okay for 4CL, Bambo will roll with that. For Monkey Freedom Fights, that's the problem for me. I don't have the same feeling about them where I'm like, oh, if this hero or this player just steps up, they're gonna roll with the game. I don't get the same.
Arise
Arise Magnus,
Arise.
Sing Juggernaut, and then just late game with
Then
the
it's
power.
it's very specific player hero combinations where you
That'd
would
be
say
a
on the
good
other
go-to
teams
for
more.
best of one, maybe.
I wouldn't
if
even
they
be
get it.
surprised if they first ban Magnus. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Maybe.
The thing is, I think the last time we saw him play Magnus, he didn't win.
That was a tough game.
It's a
right?
fluke.
So he can't win.
It's a fluke.
It was a fluke.
I do have one player though for the team that to look out for. It's the Absolute. Like his Night Stalker you mentioned, his Tusk. He is a very explosive player. It's his only second LAN. I don't know if he's nervous or not. This morning I talking to him, he seemed pretty confident.
Yeah, he's very calm and confident.
So I'm looking for him to big play. At DreamLeague, at least in the seasonal games, he was coming big. Like I don't know how he does it, but minute 4 he just gets double kill. I guess Night Stalker is a very strong hero, obviously at that point, but he just finds the opening and he just gets it done. So maybe that's the player that we'll be looking for. The other player I'm looking for is Sing Sing, because coming into this tournament, he's been playing a lot of different hero. He's like ranging from Ursa, Anti-Mage, the Ember Spirit, played Mirana a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me every time they draft him a hero, like how Anti-Mage was for Team Empire, it just doesn't really feel like it fits the lineup. So I'm looking for him, what hero he gets to play and how he fits with the rest of the draft.
Well, we have Yapsor's Night Stalker. First ban material for Clover, so they removed that one, leaving Slaughter and Ember for Monkey Freedom Fighters to pick up as the first two. PPD opinion on this first start of the draft.
I like Slaughter against Shadow Fiend. I mean, Shadow Fiend on Dire. Some teams are, they're not always 100% certain they want to go with the Shadow Fiend on the Dire, but I think it's just a perfectly fine first pick. Shadow Fiend's an awesome hero. Like I said before, it gives you some really solid direction, which can be a pretty good approach to a best of one.
When you pick up a Shadow Fiend, do you not want to pick up like another mech carrier with him? Like, what do you like think Shadow Fiend mech is like the only way to go?
No, I think it's fine. I really like Shadow Fiend with just rushing like a Helmet Dom into SNY. I think that build's super strong. You get so farmed early game, and you can look to end the game by like 30 minutes if you go that build and somebody else has the mech.
Well, the Winter Wyvern is the next one for Clovers. And the Wind Ranger, unfortunately, removed. Are we also going to see an Age Deparation removed? We actually got him completely ignored in the previous game. And by the way, at this point, Bane, I was going to say is ignored, but just got removed.
The Magnus, they picked up their Ember Spirit.
No respect for the Magnus, man.
Could still ban it.
I think they have to, right?
But I actually think in some ways AA is scarier to give away. Just when you look at what 4 Clovers want to do, the classic counter we saw in Frankfurt to this kind of lineup was exactly AA. You counter the Shadow Fiend mech, you counter the Wyvern heal, and then suddenly you can't just go for these kind of pushes into the tower where You know, Monkey Freedom Fighters, the biggest trap for them is that they lose out too hard early and they don't get to play that kind of late game. And AA can buy them all the time they need, probably.
No respect, man. Arise Magnus, they're just like, we can handle it.
It'll be fine.
Easy.
No AA ban either. I would have liked the AA and like Magnus ban there for
10
CL.
seconds remaining.
The Dazzle's still in the pool as well. With Monkey Freedom Fighters, they could
Dazzle's
set up
good.
Dazzle would be good
5
for
seconds.
both
Both teams, yeah, with the
Yeah.
amazing minus armor.
I think that's probably the pick. And then Magnus fourth, of course.
Reserve
If 4 Clovers would be going for the Dazzle, don't you feel like that's maybe a bit too defensive?
Oh, we saw how OG played that in Frankfurt.
Depends on their other cores.
Wyvern Dazzle. Just need the right cores with it, and
They could do
you
like
need
a
to be good.
Sven. Sven would be really good for 4CL, like Sven Dazzle.
That is
Tons of armor. That's
Has
super
the
good versus
disable.
Ember and Slardar. And works pretty well with Shadow Fiend.
See if they see that one. Monkey Freedom Fighters looking for their last ban, have got the first pick, of course, after this banning case. Also still looking for all their supports.
How about Tiny for 4 Clovers? Still in the pool as well. It's such a good hero for Bambo in general. He plays in every position, more or less.
Radiant team.
It's a good hero in this version. It's a good hero against Ember. We saw it as a counter pick in Frankfurt as well. Just having that blink burst that Ember can't react to with his Remnant. And then you follow up with Winter's Curse. Pretty solid hero against Slaughter too, in my opinion. You can always, when he has to engage in close, it's very easy to counterplay, toss him away, Avatos on himself, and just kill him with sprint. He takes so much damage.
Tiny's a super strong hero. I think we'll see a lot more of him as
The
this tournament goes on.
Rubik.
Dire team pick.
One of his many heroes that he climbed to whatever 7k MMR he is at. It's like, I picked 3 heroes. Night Stalker, Tusk, and Rubik.
It's a pretty good trio to have for pub games, that's for sure. Rubik probably the weaker of those 3 in a pub, but if you pick it in the right moment, it can be the greatest.
Is this the right moment, you feel like, against Shadow Fiend?
I don't know. I'm not so sold on the Rubik. I still think AA would have been better. I still think, we're talking Magnus, but they didn't need to pick it third. So I think getting a support is fine, but AA for me would have been the obvious
It's
choice.
Rubik. It's a block pick.
Yeah.
So they can Rubik into Magnus. Can't steal the RP now.
We're so tunnel vision on this Magnus. All right, okay, there you go.
Got this,
Dire
man.
team.
All right, so it's the Empower on the
Ember Spirit.
Ember Spirit, yeah.
They do have on 4 Clovers a lot of disruption though. I mean, the Curse already, Fissure, Echo Slam. There's a lot of disruption that can maybe. No?
Yeah.
You're shaking your head.
Shaker's pretty good against Magnus. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to fissure after the RP and stop the skewer to wherever they want to
The
go.
curse is decent as well.
You need to make sure you cover your fissure though. Don't let Rubik have it.
I still think Tiny is a fine pick.
10 seconds
Fissure is a
remaining.
fairly easy skill to steal, right?
I like Sven.
They pick up the Dazzle as well.
Dazzle.
Radiant team back.
Probably seen AA ban now.
That means that we have ourselves a Bambo Earthshaker.
Or, yeah,
Yes.
true.
Can you do enough on that hero?
It's a
10
good hero. Like,
seconds remaining.
so there's a couple of heroes in this game that can get something out of the offlane, regardless of what happens. Shaker's
5
one of those. There's like Shaker,
seconds
Tusk. You can shard block creeps into your forest, and same with Clockwork. Those heroes are pretty much like
Reserve time.
top 3 offlaners of we're not going to dual lane offlane, we're not going to aggressive try. You're just going to be on your own in the offlane, and best of luck to you.
Do you think
So-
offlane Lich could ever be, like, not in this game, but
No, I don't think so.
no one has played that
People
for
do
ages.
some dual lanes with like a Lich support. I think that's fine in some cases, but even that I think is pretty weak.
I think Disruptor could be a nice pickup for Monkey Freedom Fighters. Just combo it up with the RP, the chase.
right.
The
You
Got to be a
the
little
silence for
careful
Dazzle.
because I think that 4CL is being on Dire. I think they're going to have like the Roshan advantage. They're going to have their Aegis on their Shadow Fiend. He's going to be frontlining. You're going to have Dazzle heals and Winter Wyvern sitting way back. Same with Earthshaker. And Disruptor is like he wants the people that are running at him are running away. And like if you're just taking a 5-on-5 engagement, he's not
10
always the best
seconds
hero if you
remaining.
don't have something to like establish the fight like a Darkseer.
5 seconds remaining.
So going back to your Earthshaker point, you're saying that he's a good hero to get experience, but at the
Good
same
man.
time,
Radiant
wouldn't Ember Spirit
team
get
pick.
absolute free farm in that situation?
Yes, the hero that you're up against does get free farm, but you at least get a couple levels.
Okay.
And then after you get a couple levels, you can kind of use good here. You can rotate mid, gank mid. Maybe you get a kill there. That can help you out as well.
So they know they're losing the lane, but it's a trade-off
Yes.
they're going for.
They're like, we're gonna safe lane tri lane. We're gonna help. We're gonna stack camps for Shadow Fiend. We're gonna focus on our 2 lanes and just Earthshaker. You just do your thing, pull creeps off the tower. Like just
All right.
best of luck.
So you're saying that Sven is a good last pick here? Does that still
Sven
stand
is still a pretty good pick, I think. I like it a lot.
against even more minus armor now
yeah,
from Venture?
more minus armor.
10
It might be
seconds
slightly
remaining.
concerning going for a melee core now that there's Avenge too. I think that
That's true.
it's a
Just
lot
get
easier
kited.
for him to get out of position, get
Yeah.
swapped into a Crush from Slardar or Slight Chains.
But what they want to be careful of here is if
Reserve time.
they could go tiny as well, like you said, that would be fine too. They need some sort of initiator because they can't depend on like an offlane Earthshaker. As we said, he's going to be totally stacked. He's going to be really behind. He's not going to get his Blink Dagger to probably, maybe even after 20 minutes. But if they don't have anything to establish kills or set the pace of the game, they're going to find themselves chasing around Monkey Freedom Fighters, chasing around the Ember Spirit, chasing around the Magnus, and Rubik's going to be able to just de-push the lanes and not have to worry about getting picked or caught.
What do you think of the bot rider pick here? Like they have an Ember Spirit who wants to kind of split push, split chase.
yeah.
Into Venge though.
And the safe lane, you're
No,
showing.
no, yeah, not into Venge.
Yeah, yeah.
But even then, like I think they need more carry.
It's also hard into Rubik. He's a good back counter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And yeah, they need damage. They can't rely on, because the thing is, if they do that, they put all their eggs into one basket. Shadow Fiend has to get farmed so they can take towers, or else they just lose the game. So
What
I
about
don't.
What about Juggernaut?
Jug? Yeah, can you
Jug
do
is
the push?
okay, I think. He's actually a pretty decent choice. Then they have even more healing.
Yeah, if they get the mechanism open, they're pushing with
That'd
Jug
be,
and
yeah, that'd
Dazzle.
be very five-man
Yeah.
healing ward behind, just hit the towers.
Ninjas and Pajamas did that a lot actually in the major qualifiers.
It's good against Magnus Ember until past minute 25 when Ember has some damage items,
Anything,
right?
yeah.
But until then, you can actually negate most of the damage just with Shadow Wave and the healing ward. And if you're looking to push with Shadow Fiend, that's actually a good timing window where Monkey Freedom Fighters lineup doesn't really have that much apart from if they land a really good Ravage, or sorry, RP. So
With a Rise, it's basically a Ravage.
What would you feel is the do it or die for Monkey Freedom Fighters in this game so far, from seeing the draft?
They just need to stall, play for late game.
Blink
this
Blink
is
Dagger
interesting.
timing.
Wraith
is-
King. That's I
It's
like
pretty
that.
good, yeah.
He's a little squishy with Amp and Venge, but you know they filled that role of having some hero that could start fights. You know, he can get a Blink Dagger on Wraith King early in the safe lane, just farm it up, and then just go.
I think this is all right. Yeah.
What shall we look out for Monkey Freedom Fighters?
The Magnus.
The
Take-
Magnus?
Magnus.
To lane
Take,
RPs.
take the right fight.
Yeah.
You know, you need your Magnus to have a good RP, and you need to make sure you have damage to follow up. If they take a fight too early, they can't fight into like Shadow Fiend mech. The game could get really ugly.
Okay, we'll find out. It is time to go back to our commentators. It is our resident
Prepare for
Birdman,
battle.
Andy, and of course the always energetic OD Pixel.
Indeed, thank you very much. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Draskell, and we're ready to take you into the second best of one of the day. It's 4 Clovers going up against the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters, and the game has begun, so let's get ourselves straight in and not hesitate anymore. And Andy, well, we've heard what the panelists thought about the drafts. What do you reckon about these two lineups that these teams have brought to this game?
I think they pretty much summed up most of it nicely. Just a matter of playing around the Shadow Fiend, last banning the AA, being able to 5-man with 4 CLs lineup, and obviously sacking the Bambo Earthshaker. But for me, Bambo is that kind of player that even in lanes where he gets
30
nothing,
seconds
he still
to battle.
always does a lot. It just seems like regardless of whether or not he has a good early game, he still manages to make things happen. So I think that's something we're definitely going to have to be looking out for. But other than that, I mean, we could see a very big fight here for the level 1 rune.
I mean, both teams are ready to jump here at the bottom.
I don't think that 4CL want to fight this, right?
I don't know, they seem pretty eager. They're all poised there. They're moving forward here. They at least want to try and secure themselves the rune. And with an Ice Fish, they should be able to. There's a telekinesis onto Nico there. Nico actually going up to the high ground. He's got the Fire Blast, and Fire Blast onto the backside of Arise. Be able to
was a
secure themselves the
spike
ring.
That was, I could kill you, but I'm just going to stun you instead and I'll walk away. You know, casual stuff. But the one thing that I don't think they said too much of on the panel is 4CL kind of lack catch until the Wraith King and the Earthshaker actually get Blink Dagger. So Ember and Slardar, they're going to have a really easy time just making their way around in these team fights because there's really only 2 heroes up until level 6 that can actually stun you at all, and that's going to be Bambo and Nikwa. So I think that Ember really won't struggle too much in this game.
And of course, a lot of eyes on Arise on that signature Magnus. At the moment, he's having to deal with not just Pycat, but Saxa on that Wyvern as well. And already, just with the Arctic Burn harass, moving him back, pushing him out. And this is not going to be a nice lane here for this Magnus.
Yeah, definitely not. And the unfortunate part is Rubik can't really help that much in this type of situation because you have a melee farming core. So Arise is pretty much going to have to wait until he can get the bottle, get like level 3 and 5, get some shockwaves going, and try to find your farm that way.
At the same time, looking at the other lanes, bottom lane, the fact that you've got this Ember farming up against this Shaker at the backup and on telekinesis. In fact, and this is a lovely stew. I mean, you said the Rubik might not be able to do that much, and he's managed to find themselves the kill in the mid. And that was a really nice play from the duo of them. And Saxa, he just wasn't around to help out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was he doing actually, because he didn't place a ward or anything. He was kind of maybe stacking? No, he didn't stack. All right, I'm not really sure what he was doing during that time, but really nice kill, starting things off here.
Very nice indeed, especially how they're out in a bit of trouble. Telekinesis on Sack. There's a lot of creeps here as well. He's taking a fair bit of damage, and what with the hang on! Okay, I mean, Monkey Freedom Fighters turning up in the mid lane.
That's just an outplay, though. I mean, just not recognizing that there's a ton of creeps there, and it's daytime as well, so he had to have seen the mag coming at least from the back, but... Yeah, 2 kills in mid. I was like, man, I don't know about Rubik this game, but I guess when you have mag to partner it with, that skewer is just that much more effective.
At the moment, Bambo trying to find what he can here on the Shaker. The bat. Some CS whilst we wait for Sing Sing to get back in position. But there is, of course, going to be this point with this Ember and Magnus. I mean, we saw a few teams do it at the Frankfurt Major, and the combo is pretty damn disgusting.
Yeah, mainly Secret. Like, they showed the potency of it, but they also had to buy rapiers, I think, in both the Ember games they ran.
I believe so. I mean, that would be fine for me if we see that happen this game.
I'm not sure if it's going to be the same level of game where you have to actually buy a rapier to win, but I mean, it's always on the table. And again, the lack of catch on 4CL is a little bit concerning when you're dealing with heroes like Ember, because where's your burst damage? Like, what hero are you looking to on 4CL to say, all right, we're going to lock this hero down, and we're actually going to be able to kill him without some kind of either swap, a blink RP, a Slardar blink stun. Like, MFF just have a ton of disables.
Arise. Back towards mid 9 for 0 against the 11 for 4, and the fact that he's been involved in 2 kills, still looking pretty good for him on the start of that. In that mid lane, 2 safe laners. Nikwa 16 for 8 against the 17 for 6. So pretty much even farm for these guys, and not having too many issues with each side's offlaners.
Now, for the sake of farming, I think it's probably better that 4CL had a good laning phase for the Wraith King than it is for MFF, for Ember. Because MFF can always look to slow the pace of the game, right? They don't have to go for the ultra early aggression. Whereas if they get that Ember to a point where you get like a Battle Fury and level 4 Empower and a crit on top of that, you can just start like one-shotting supports. It becomes very, very scary for 4CL. But they're the ones who have to try to do something. So getting farm in the laning phase, getting Nikwa to the early blink, which I think is a fair call in this game. I don't really think you want to take it past the 30-minute mark against MFS lineup.
Okay, so you think, without doubt, it's got to be the blink build.
Well, I mean, you can go another item first. You can go Armlet, you can go Blade Mail or something like that, and then go back for blink. But you need somebody who can initiate the fight, because no one else really on 4CL can do it. You're stacking the Earthshaker. So Nikwa is the only option that they have. I mean, you could also look to 5-man, since you have Dazzle and Winter Wyvern, so you have like that healing thing going for you. Make Pycat buy mech and then just try to 5-man. But you can still get initiated on in that case.
Sing Sing trying to move in it. Has a pretty hefty career wave, and there's a wraparound here from Kebab. Looking at Bambo, and they'll get the magic missile. Sing Sing goes around, gets the chains down here, and this should be a 3rd kill, and it will. Monkey Freedom Fighters finding something else here to the tally. Saxa has come through. Looks like he's just got to hide himself in the tree line here. They'll look to push down this tier 1. They're going to use the Splinter Blaster to push back this advance from Freedom Fighters.
Now, their team is not really the greatest at hitting buildings in the very early game. But again, their lineup isn't necessarily built to go for the super early game map control. They just had a lot of fallback mechanics. Like, trying to push into MFF is very difficult, whereas 4CL also have decent spam. Like, obviously, you have Shadow Fiend, you got Winter Wyvern, Splinter Blast, you got Dazzle Heal even, which can be used to split push. So I think it's going to be a little bit slow until we start seeing some blinks. And MFF still, like, having 3 kills already at just a 5-minute, that's like insane. I did not expect them to be able to find so many early kills like that.
And we may see them try and find more. They've got a smoke coming out on its way to Kebab on that Vengeful Spirit. So we'll see he's able to find some rotations. Mid lane, Arise, he's got Yapso hanging around. Bycat does have Saxa close by. They've got Demon here as well. They're trying to find the telekinesis moving forward, but now Saxa tries to jump in with the Splinter Blast, and now with the Arctic Burn onto Yapso. They don't find anything here. They get the Crush out, but they've already found themselves a kill here for Clovers. And Monkey Freedom Fighters' aggression there in the mid lane not paying off this time.
They had a ward on the high ground on MFF. They definitely saw that there were 2 heroes, and they still decided to try to go for that. I mean, in that scenario, if he gets the lift on the Shadow Fiend's dead. Like 100%. There's no way that Sox is going to be able to save him, so I guess they were just hoping that he could get a range in time. But unfortunately, Rubik not that fast. He is 15 movement speed slower, even with boots and a Shadow Fiend.
They come in there, top to the bottle here for Arise. Now Kebab heads back towards the bottom. Sing's farm on the Ember, still looking pretty good, 38. Against the 42 of Nikwa. It's just going to be a question really of who becomes more active. And Demon. He's finding the levels up here at the moment on the Slider on this offlane level 4. You compare that to Bambo though, and Bambo is about a level ahead of Demon Slider at this point.
Yeah, he's always managing to just spam fissure, stop the creeping.
Hello, there's your telekinesis. Oh, Rise a
he
little
missed.
bit off there with the skewer.
Yeah.
Didn't work out this time.
It's a bit of a bummer. Like, getting those early kills on Magnus is great because it puts you closer to that Blink Dagger. And he's not going to be able to get his hands on that and a little bit of extra gold in typical Arise fashion. The old cancel RP
Flashing
really,
around
really
with
fast.
that RP.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets it, there is backup, you know, and Pycat fairly low at the moment. Does have the 3 bolt charges down the south. So he shouldn't be caught out here. These Monkey Freedom Fighters will have to hold back, but they are putting a lot of attention towards this mid lane at the moment. And Sax is actually going to start to wrap around top.
And we're just waiting to see where things really start to kick off here. I guess for 4CL, they're just waiting for the heroes to get the... Maybe one blink, maybe the mech is their real timing, waiting for Pycat just to get that little bit of extra farm. And we're going to see a smoke here.
Oh, it's going to get dispelled here, but they might still find Saxus. Saxus might, he's going to walk into this one. The coordinate, the info wasn't there, even though they realized that, well, they've got the backup. They might be able to turn it. They've got the Winner's Curse. Sorry, the Cold Embrace for Saxus, keeping him alive. And now with the Shallow Grave, he's going to live. Arise gets a lovely RP, but there's no follow-up. And it just doesn't matter. Sing Sing is now turning up. Maybe he could try and find some kills in return, but they've already lost 2. They do find 1 in and out, but there's a Requiem coming out from Pycat. 2 for 1 at the moment. Sing Sing, he used all his remnants to initiate here. And Yapso's getting chased down by Bambo. He's trying to turn, has a telekinesis, but Pycat's in the river. He'll clean up the Rubik, and it's a triple kill for Pycat. And an incredibly messy turn of events there from Monkey Freedom Fighters. And hang on. Oh, is this going to be...
Oh, okay.
Okay, bit of a misraise there from Pycat.
Yeah. He actually missed both of his raises too at the beginning of the last fight. He only
That's a bit of a sloppy from both sides, but I guess triple kill for the Shadow Fiend. Paul Clover's going to be very happy with that one.
Yeah, the problem with that last fight is Sing Sing was just a little bit too late. Like if the 3-man RP was there and he had a triple remnant on top of it, then they probably would have just crushed that, right? Like they kill everyone in the duration of the RP pretty much, but because he was too late and the remnants only dealt damage to like one of the heroes, they were able to split up after the fact. The synergy and combo wasn't really on point. If that happens again and everyone's actually there for Monkey Freedom Fighters, I can see that fight going very differently. But as you mentioned, that triple kill for Pycat puts him, I mean, pretty much very close to mech.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already, actually he went back for Aquila, so it's a little bit later than normal.
Bottom lane, Sing, gonna try for a solo one here, moving in with the remnants onto Saxa. Chase him down, he's got another remnant and he has got the chains. It's a cold embrace from Saxa, trying to buy himself some time, and I don't know if Sing's gonna have the damage to work with this. Actually, with the flame guard still ticking, okay.
Backs out.
Isn't gonna go for it. Pays a bit of mercy, there's the Wyvern.
He doesn't see either of the supports right now, but it's always hard to make that call in the moment. Assuming he's gonna eat his stun here and just back off. I kind of like the fact that he backed off though. Like it's very easy on a hero like Ember to justify, okay, I can just tower dive because I'm highly mobile. But just not wanting to overcommit and give away a kill when he knows that MFF are going to be playing more around mid-late game anyway.
One thing worth noting, of course, the fact that even though this Magnus Arise, he was involved in not the greatest of fights in the mid lane, he's still going to get that classic Arise timing on the Blink Dagger. He has got 2k in the bank at the moment, so we are going to see that Blink come out fairly shortly. And obviously, once he's picked that up, we'll see him do the classic where he just goes back to base, gets himself a smoke and a TP, looks for a lane and looks for a guaranteed kill. We'll see if he's able to achieve that. He has also got a haste rune ready and waiting that's going to be there when he has that blink. So.
It's just one of those comfort zone things, right? Like even if you're not having like a perfect early game, you're just so confident on the hero that you always manage to find enough farm during the preliminary stages of the game to just get your core item and then just start fighting. And I think that's one of the reasons why banning Magnus is so prevalent against teams with Arise on it. It's just because, like you said, he just gets there every single game. And it's not like you're going to hard focus on Mag mid, right? Like even Saxo was there for a few waves and he ends up getting a kill because of it. But here we go.
Yeah. TP out to the tier 2 smoke up with the boys, Kabap and Demon, ready to follow soon. Let's see if they can find something here. They've got Rubik picking up the levels in the mid lane. Maybe they can try and use him as a bait. They might find Pycat. It would be a nice one if they do, and here we go. Oh, he's found him here, trying to get a position for the RP, and there it is. They've got the follow-up. They're looking to take him down, but there is the backup of Dazzle. EGM coming in, and they're going to be able to keep Pycat alive with the Shallow Grave. And now they just turn. That's one down. They won't be able to find a Rise. He gets himself out with a haste and Kabab. And Yapso still trying to kill Pycat, but they can't. It's a double kill there. He gets the race out. He finally goes down to the shockwave of Arise. So Arise does manage to find the kill there for the team. But now they may lose more. Ray Fire Blast from Nico connecting onto Yapso. The fish is down as well. Rubik will fall it will turn around with a stolen Ray Fire Blast, but it doesn't matter. So 4 Clovers getting the kills. They did lose Pycat as Arise only just salvages the situation with that stray shockwave.
Yeah, he didn't lose much money though. I think he bought a mech recipe like during the engagement, so he didn't really lose out on too much. He's 300 away from Mechanism right now. And that RP, that was 3 heroes pretty much,
Radiant's
and an
middle
RP
tower
committed to
is
trying to
under
kill the Shadow
attack.
Fiend, and they still didn't have the damage. Like, in these early game portions, stacking the stuns like that, the Venge stunning on top of the RP, maybe just assuming that they would have the damage to kill, that was a very crucial mistake. Like, if they had stun locked him properly, then that Requiem maybe doesn't go off at such a bad time and end up getting 2 kills. So, a lot of execution mistakes, I guess, from both teams in the early stage.
Well, Bambo smoked up now. Level 8. He's looking towards the top lane. This is, of course, giving more and more space here for Sing Sing on his Ember. Jimmy yet to hit level 6, so we're already seeing in terms of the offlaners, Bambo's having a much better time. Sing Sing tried to move in onto Saxa there with a Flame Guard. Still doesn't quite have the damage to control him. And well, 4 Clovers, they'll take down this top lane. Tier 1, and it is at that point, the fact that Pycat has got that reasonable timing, well, very good timing, in fact, on the mech, on top of the Aquila and Trex.
I mean, his net worth is huge right now. He's 7k net worth at 13 minutes. It's pretty insane. I mean, Shadow Fiends typically have a very bloated net worth at the beginning because oftentimes supports stack, and no one on the side of MFF were really contesting it. I think the supports went there earlier to try to kill the SF instead, but they weren't really too successful in that regard. I mean, I guess they killed him, but they paid for it.
Kebab. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble here. Neekwa's there with the backup of Bambo and Saxa, and that is going to be the Vengeful Spirit going down. Caught out there as Demon gets himself away with the rest of them. I mean, the thing is as well, when 4 Clovers go for these pushes, sure, you can't fight into them without an RP, surely, at this point, when you don't have a blink or any kind of initiation from the Slardar.
Until the Slardar gets blink, yeah, I agree. RP is the thing that they're definitely fighting around. And again, I still feel like Sing needs to be more proactive about coming to these fights. Just having the extra damage from the Flame Guard and, you know, getting one Sleight of Fist off or a Searing Chains, that can be the difference maker in these early engagements. But I guess with the Dazzle sitting behind Pycat all the time and having the mech completed, for now MFF feel content to, okay, we'll just split push it.
Now, there was a smoke up, but MFF, of course, did have that ward there by the Dire's secret shop. Things came out as well, so they're well aware of this movement from 4 Clovers. No one on there on the bottom lane, but mid lane. Rise fairly deep. Blink out just in time. Just trying to get the last touch on this tower, but looks like it will be denied now by 4
Look at
Clovers.
Bambo's farm. Like, it's 14 minutes in, he has Arcane 1700 gold. Like, this is what I was saying. He always gets a ton of farm.
I mean, he's been involved in, what, 6 of the 8 kills on this off-lane Shaker. He's been incredibly active, and 40 minutes in, it's, as you said, it's paying off. He's closing in on that Blink Dagger.
And once he gets it, man, it's really difficult for MFF because they got, what, 3 melee cores? Like, their safe lane farmer, their off-laner, and their mid are all melee against an Earthshaker. That's like the dream. You know, you want to go in and echo that team for sure. And we can already see is shown on the graphs here, 4,000 experience and gold lead going the way of Force CL for now. And MFF are pushing into the safe lane tier 1. They will get it. And they have RP available for the next team fight.
I mean, at this point with the RP, with the Empower and the Ember Spirit, is it just a question of MFF trying to force the side of 4 Clovers back and try and force them to take a fight that MFF are kind of starting?
I don't think that MFF are going to be able to force CL back. I think it's actually the opposite, because you have a Shadow Fiend with a mech. 4 CL are not going to lose in a pushing war to MFF's team this early, because of the fact that, again, Shadow Fiend just deals a tremendous amount of damage, and you have very good sustain. So I think MFF are just waiting for a stage where that Ember just starts to hit really, really hard and can start just pushing 4CL back on his own, you know? But it's a weird dynamic for this game because the Shaker should not already have Blink. Like, it's 1530, he has Blink Arcanes. That's insane timing for offlane. Like, a sacked offlane, mind you. Like, they did not help him at all. He was pretty much just going around to fights and, you know, finding his opening. So as the panel was saying, watch out for this guy. He is the guy who can have an explosive game and make a huge impact, and he's set up to do just that.
And it just feels as well, you look at 4 Clovers lineup, they've got a great way to turn around an RP if Arise doesn't pretty much catch them all. I mean, if you don't catch the Dazzle, he's just going to be there with kind of a reverse heal bomb you know, with all the grouped up heroes on its own side. And you look at the fact that they've also got the Shallow Grave, there's a Winter's Curse available, and the fact that they blink on the Shaker. It's going to be a very hard fight for MFF to jump into. They're looking for Pycat, but he lets off the Requiem. Nice go from Rise, bringing EGM away. There's an RP catches too. Very nice RP. There's an Echo Slam from Bambo just on the side. The mech is popped. They're trying to keep Pycat alive, but they won't be able to. They've lost two. Bambo to find some return, and there's your Winter's Curse with the Splinters Blast. And suddenly MFF just disappearing off the map. They're all dead. Double kill for Bambo.
That was so nice.
It was a little bit messy from the initial Echo Sound, but it caught them on the edge.
I think Bambo overestimated his blink or clicked too far or something, because his Echo was a little bit off. He dealt damage, but he didn't hit anybody with the Aftershock. So Soxka came in, he's like, you know what, dude, I got you.
That curse into the Splinter Blast just...
Yeah.
And the mech, of course, as well.
He had an invis as well, which is really the reason why that went so well for him. Yeah. So we're gonna get a chance to see it again, yeah.
There we go, on theScore eSports instant replay. Where does it go wrong?
So the Mag gets an amazing RP. Like, that's perfect spacing. He hits both heroes, but the Echo a little bit off here from Bambo, we can see it, but his Fissure actually hits everyone, and that allows Pycat to get 2 Requiems off right as he dies. Everyone's already low. Soxka comes in with the Invis rune, gets a curse on every single hero, and then Nico with the Blink Dagger, and Bambo able to finish things off there. So a really unfortunate turn of events for MFF. That Invis rune definitely hurt them, because I think there was not quite enough damage unless the Winter Wyvern was there. So not being able to see that one coming. They even had a ward in the jungle a little bit deeper that would have been able to scout him out had he not had that rune. Just lack of information and unfortunate rune made MFF get kind of...
And this Pycat performance is very scary. He's coming up to 10k, and the Kebab's going to look for the TP, but the Fissure's there, and they'll pop out a magic missile. He can stun one, he can't stun them all, and they'll let that one go the way of Pycat. More kills into the bank of this Shadow Fiend, and he is getting to a point where I don't see MFF killing him, especially when there's a Dazzle around.
I mean, with a Mag Ember lineup, you can never say never.
Okay.
That's the one thing that we always have to keep in mind as we're going on this game. 4CL clearly have an advantage right now. Like, they took a huge fight, they 5-man wiped MFF, and that is extremely painful for any composition, doesn't matter who it is. But the Blink Dagger is now done on Slardar, and the Ember Spirit is closing in on his first Battle Fury. And once you get that going with a level 4 in power, which the Magnus will have soon, then all of a sudden you're looking at an Ember who has insane farming potential. Going high ground against it is tough. You're going to have to look at Nico and Bambo and be like, you guys need to help us catch this guy. If we can catch him out, then we can fight without the Ember. It's not so hard to go high ground. But until that point, a Mag Ember lineup can always come back.
Yeah, one nice RP could certainly turn this one around, but for the time being, still very much 4 Clovers in the driver's seat. MFF needs to be very careful about their plays here. There's a smoke up from 4 Clovers, ready to fight straight away in Kebab. He's in a lot of trouble. Straight in, Nikwa and Bambo. Just absolutely blowing up this Vengeful Spirit. And now Demon, he's got a blink. We'll use it just in time. But the Venge down, and 4 Clovers with the pushing power. They're gonna look for this tier 2, and MFF, they need a huge RP into the Sing Sing Slight really at this point. They want to stop this, and it doesn't look like they're going to try and fight out the base. They've just got to let this tier 2 go.
I think the difference in offlaners between the two teams is the most prevalent fact of this game. Just the amount of impact that the Earthshaker has had versus the amount of impact that Demon's been able to have on his Slardar. Like, we haven't really talked about it much, but if you look at just the net worth, Bambo has 2,000 more net worth than a Slardar at this early stage in the game, and how many fights he's actually been a part of, it's just the difference between the impact these two have had is astronomical. So, I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Jimmy, it's just facts are facts. Like, Bambo's almost got like 4 staff on top of his Blink Dagger and Arcanes, and he's level 11. And 4CL are just rolling on the momentum right now. We can see the graphs reflecting that as well. Over 7,500 gold and getting towards that in experience and advantage. And this timing is very quick. Like Peter was saying during the analyst portion when they were at the desk, that most of the time an Earthshaker has a blink around 20 plus. Okay, well, Bambo has pretty much double Blink, if you want to think of it that way, because 4 staff costs a little bit more than Blink, and then Blink Dagger is 2250. So he's got actually almost twice as much net worth as expected at this stage in the game.
Well, we'll see them go for a trade here, tier 2 for tier 2. 4 Clover's probably going to be happy continuing to push, because Pycat's still got a bit of time here with this double damage. Let's see how the defense is for Monkey Freedom Fighters. Demon laying down the amplifiers. Can they make a jump, though, onto this SF? It's going to be hard. Arise as the RP, but okay, the swap into Stewart, very nice, separating PyCat from the team, and they'll look to get him, and they should be able to, and they do. That's your Aegis down, but they've already lost the Vengeful Spirit, and look how aggressive 4 Clovers are moving into the base. Moving right in, forcing MFF right back to the fountain.
They have RP still. That's important to note here. So that little display cost them a bench.
Nequa dropping fairly low. Does still have to reincarnate.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
MFF. They can't quite find the jump in. Okay, lovely skewer and RP straight away into Bamba, but he got off the Echo Slam in time. And now 4 Clovers are trying to move in. Winter's Curse is onto Arise. He'll fall. 2 dead at the moment on MFF. Slight's coming through from Sing. He has to remnant himself out. Hasn't quite got the damage. It's a buyback from Arise. He did not get to use the RP. It was cancelled in time by the Echo Slam. He's going to look for round 2 here. Getting himself positioned. It's only onto 1. Is it enough? And I don't think it is. This could be a dieback here from Arise. The damage is too much. They've lost the Magnus here for the 2nd time this fight. 3 dead on MFF, they'll lose the tier 3, and this could be the Rax as well. And an Admiral attempt from Arise there, but Bambo quick off the mark with the initial Echo, and Arise came back desperate for that RP, but he just couldn't find the one that he was looking for. And that's going to be your Rax gone at the minimum here on the side of MFF.
I mean, right now, there's not really a good RP target. If Soxa and EGM are sitting in the back, and then you have a Shadow King with an Aegis and a Wraith King with 2 lives, who do you actually go on? Like, that's the problem that Arise is running into right now. The first swap into Skewer was a nice way to burn the Aegis without having to use an RP, because then if you catch both cores, maybe you have a shot, right? But if you look at Wyvern and Shaker, they're so good at counter-initiating on an RP that if you don't also get those heroes, you just get cursed or the hero gets craved. So it's a very tough spot for Arise to find like the perfect opening to defend. And I think that 4CL know that, and also a great reason why the Wraith King is working out in this lineup. Because you don't really want to go on him. It's like, okay, he's going to respawn, we're going to get slowed, and then they also have another Blink Dagger on the Shaker already to help initiate, or counter-initiate in this case. I don't know, man. MFF, they are most certainly on the back foot, and that's already a completed Solar Crest on the Dazzle.
BKB's just come out to PyCat. He's got another DD in the bottle.
He is actually insanely farmed.
This has been a very solid performance so far from 4 Clovers, just across the entire board.
And the way they're dealing with this lineup actually is very impressive, because you never really see an opportunity for the Mag to get an initiation that he wants. I think the Slardar has to go in first. Like, the Slardar needs to go in, make 4CL kind of clump up, and then try to bait a bigger RP, because then the Ember can actually go in and deal some real damage.
Oh, Kebab's so dead. Oh!
He found him.
He did. Ah, he's gone.
That's a Pylite die. That's what we call that. Tank the smoke gank.
Oh.
I mean, in reality, it's still better for him to die than anyone else.
It's true. The other thing on the bright side here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
21 for 7. MFF has still got a long way to go to turn this around. One nice up. I mean, get 5-man RP, get that slight out.
I don't think, see, that's the problem, right?
You just can't hit these RPs.
We just spent like 5 minutes talking about why it's so hard to hit a good RP against these heroes.
And that's pretty much the only thing that they can do. It's trying to achieve the impossible nearly at this point, and now Demon. They'll have a telekinesis, but the Fisher out onto 2 here. Nico moving forward, just get blown up, but he's got the reincarnation here. And Sax is moving forward as well. The slow, they'll get the skewer here onto Niqua. This could be the pickup they're looking for to find this beginning of the fight. The Cold Embrace comes out, keeping Niqua alive. Almost certainly finally go down, and he does. So they get themselves the Wraith King, and now 4 Clovers a little bit rustled. And maybe, well, Sing, he's not happy. Moving in, gets the chains onto EGM. Stolen Wraith 5 Blast, thrown out onto the Dazzle. Telekinesis there as well, and they've got the Sentry there. Glimmer Cape won't save the Dazzle. They found themselves 2, and this fight's starting to fall apart majorly for 4 Clovers. They may lose more. They'll look for PyCat. There's Echo Slam from Bambo. Looking for the turnaround and get the aftershock, cancelling it. And now Arise caught out by the Winter's Curse, but the stolen Winter's Curse stopping the Requiem. Arise gets the skew out. He's still alive for the time being. Saxa will bring him down. And now Kabao tries to TP, but Bambo's there with the cancel. Takes him down as well. I mean, it was a lovely Winter's Curse still there from the Rubik, but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day.
I mean, at that point in the fight, they already lost Ember, so that's like the majority of their AoE damage anyway. So RP hits doesn't really matter too much. The BKB was popped by the Shadow King regardless, and that was so unfortunate, man. The Mag just blinked right into an Enchant Totem. And instead of just being able to get that immediate RP, like assuming he could get it off, he gets stunned instead. And this looks to be potentially a second set of racks here.
Let's see if they can do anything. Yeah, Absorb. He's got team in there. He's going to have Kabab back on the field in a second on this Vengeful Spirit. Is he going to jump on this, Jimmy? I don't know. Oh, Jimmy. Oh. This is very aggressive here from MFF.
They know they need to try to punish. Like, they can't just let everyone walk away. After taking that much damage, losing a tier 3, losing in the team fight, like, you need to try to catch a straggler at least.
Oh, blinks out from Saxa. Didn't quite have the vision there, MFF, so the Wyvern will escape.
I mean, as soon as they killed Nikwa, you could tell that MFF, they're like, we gotta go, we gotta go. We need to try to punish really hard for this mistake that the Wraith King just made. But unfortunately, just the sheer farm difference right now is putting 4CL in a position that even in a 4 versus 5 setup, MFF can't always win the fight. On the bright side, Sing's getting closer to his crit.
Yeah, he's keeping his cool, Sing. You know, he's second on the net worth at the moment. Obviously a fair bit behind this Shadow Fiend, but he's ahead of Nikwa's Wraith King. Yeah, the crit is there. The money is done. And with that in a Battle Fury and in Power, there is still the killing potential for the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters. It's just this fact that 4 Clovers, they've got a lot to do to turn it around.
Yeah, the big thing is, what's going to happen next, Roche? Assuming 4CL don't just try to group up again as 5 and go for some kind of push. If 4CL get their hands on that, then they're going to do pretty much exactly what they did to bottom. Have the Shadow Fiend and Nikwa sieging, with EGM and Saxa sitting in the back and just saying, okay, try to, you know, actually do something to this, because it's very, very difficult. And now with Nikwa having a BKB on top of his Blink and Maelstrom, it's going to be even harder, because that little swap into skewer trick won't work if Nikwa's fast on his BKB. Same thing for Pycat, because you can't skewer BKB targets, even if you can swap. So, yeah, life is difficult for MFF right now. Not over just yet. If they can somehow win a skirmish and get Roshan into their own hands, I think they would actually be in a pretty decent spot.
I mean, what's the next big item here for Pycat? 4.2k gold here on the man. Does he look to just go for something like the Skadi and just make himself even more unkillable, or can he afford to go for the punch?
Very, very good in this game. Because you want to be able to take a couple of Sleight of Fists, you know? You got Dazzle for sustain. Having an AC would also be really nice, but I don't think... I mean, he could buy whatever he wants, really. With this kind of advantage, having an AC or a Skadi are both fantastic choices. I think he'll probably just go Skadi, though. It just makes you that beefy frontline hero for your high ground sieges.
There we go. We're actually going to see the smoke from MFF. Resulting them coming towards the pit. Roshan, a bit of a longer respawn timer here for them. So a little bit unlucky in that sense. And well, the courier was used to scout it out, but ends up paying with his life. So courier down here for the side of 4 Clovers. Roshan still yet to spawn.
It's very, very soon. Like right now, just being forced back is a bad thing if you're in an MFF situation, which is why they're still kind of like sitting around, right? Like they know they don't want to go back to base right now. If you give away another Aegis to 4CL, you're basically just saying, okay, here's another free set of racks.
There we go. It's back up. Out here by the side of 4 Clovers. They're aware. Question is, are MFF going to stick around? They've got Sing doing a lot of good work up on this top lane, getting that split push done. 3k gold now on top of the Crystallis. So Sing, as we were saying before, he's really keeping himself focused, and if anything, he is starting to close that gap between himself and Pycat.
I mean, he's second highest net worth.
Yeah.
And if he gets a... Well, I assume he'll probably save for buyback, but if he can get a Daedalus, and he has that Empower, the Sleight of Fist is going to start hurting. And since it's maxed out now, it's very low cooldown. You can even start chipping down Pycat and Nikwa to a point where they might not feel comfortable just going for the all-in push. And there is still a tier 2 top. So it's not as if 4CL are going to be able to Mega unless they win a really big fight.
As we saw there, of course, 4 Clovers are able to melt Roshan. Pycat now walking around with that Aegis. And well, with the money, if he wants to fully invest in that Skadi. Top lane, looks like Monkey Freedom fights them. See if they actually try and force a fight now. The Sing has got these items on board, and yeah, he's going to just go all in for the Daedalus now. Just sending that courier back to pick up the recipe. And looks like they're just going to play it safe, but yeah, it's all about Sing at the moment to see if he has it in him to just hold the game together for his side and find those big Sleight of Fists.
I mean, finding the Sleight of Fist isn't really the hard part. It's more
I guess the setup.
Yeah, it's more, can you actually get an RP? Can you deal enough damage in the RP to actually make 4CL back off, or are they just going to pop their BKBs afterwards and just turn around with a big Requiem, you know? Like it's a very, very hard fight for MFF, even defending their high ground at this point.
There we go, straight out to the racks. Let's see what the answer is from MFF. Getting the chains out, but Pycat, he doesn't really care with the Skadi. The Shadow Wave from Dazzle as well.
He's
Keeping
got
him
Solar
topped
Crest
up.
too. I mean, he actually, with Amp on, he still has 20 armor. Like,
Okay, they just swap skill onto Pycat, getting him under the tier 3s, but Saxa comes forward, gets the cold embrace out. Pycat's going to be kept alive for a little bit. Bench just melts, so they've taken down the Vengeful Spirit and 4 Clovers, and they go back to the racks. And yeah,
they didn't even kill
they
Pycat.
can't kill Pycat at this point. He's unstoppable. And they'll just focus their attention back towards the racks. He has, of course, still got the Aegis there. She's Shallow Grave. Make sure that they don't expend the Aegis straight away, and they might not even do that. Okay, well, it does tick out here. Arise, he has got that RP, but he can't jump in on this. And Nico's the one blinking forward. Jam with a slide. Nico with the armor starting to tick up. Pycat as well from that weave. EGM doing well in terms of keeping the team alive, making it very hard for MFF to do anything against them, even with this Daedalus on Sing Sing. There's your RP onto Pycat. He'll get brought back again. Can they kill him? We saw him struggle last time. Stun out as well. Amplifies down, but the BKB's popped. The cold embrace is there. They can't kill this Shadow Fiend. And this was obviously off the back of a buyback from Jimmy. They lose EGM, and now, well, maybe this might be the point. Now there's no EGM, there's no Shallow Grave. Kabab with the swap, there's a crush, but Bambo with the Echo Slam. The curse comes out. A wicked 6 streak here for the man on the Shadow Fiend. Pycat still kept alive by these cold embraces. They just could not kill him as much as they try. And Pycat just ends up walking out the base. And MFF, it was a dieback there on Jimmy Slardar, and they lose Kabab for pretty much the second time in that fight as well, and of course the mid-racks are gone. And this Shadow Fiend is pretty much the definition of out of control.
So many little things in this game for MFF just didn't go their way. You know, that first fight inside of the jungle where Bambo had that Echo that dealt quite a bit of damage, didn't stun, and then Saxa's Invis Rune, like getting that like 4-man curse, just totally destroyed any like mid-game chance they had of trying to influence the map in any real way. It's just like a lot of really small things happening like that. I mean, losing your...
Okay, I'll take that, says Sing. And that's a gem. That is a gem. All right. I mean, he picks up the blink, went straight top with the bots, and Sector was not expecting.
Definitely not. I mean, he still does a decent amount of damage. We talk about how Pycat didn't really die in the engagement. He did eventually get his Aegis taken off. And this is a hero who has 2,500 health and well over 20 armor.
Oh, okay. Sing Sing. He's going in for more, but oh, no. Ooh. That's the Remnant.
Yeah.
Oh, Nico doing a lot of damage there.
But MFF's lineup is showing that even in a situation where they are massively behind in terms of gold and experience, like there's a 20,000 gold lead right now for 4CL. And the Ember is still dealing enough damage to make 4CL have to go like in and out, you know, instead of just going for an all-in fight and just ending the game. Where most of the time, a lineup who's that far ahead just straight up stomp.
Absol is moving in. He has got the stolen Requiem here as well. If they can find a lead in, Pycat did get off the BKB just in time, and I think that might save his life here. They'll just turn and force back the side of MFF, getting the punches in. Stun comes out, but he's juked out by the side of Fist. Bambo with that Shadow Blade trying to close in. Hasn't got Echo Slam. He'll use the Fisher to try and control Kabab. Comes in, but the magic missile's there just in time to hold him. Pycat gets us over the sky. Look how much damage he is doing. Pretty much a third of the health of Kabab just disappearing away. Pycat moving in for more with Nikra. They'll find themselves the Vengeful Spirit. He'll go down. Arise gets the skew across onto Bambo. They'll find themselves something in return, so 1-for-1. And now Saxon just trying to slow the up. So Pycat moves in. There's your punches. Rubik to fall. Jimmy as well came in with a crusher. There's been a buyback from Bambo. He's trying to get himself back into the fight. Jimmy's stuck in the trees. He'll fall. Double kill here for Pycat. Now on a godlike streak. And now, well, Niko's trying to get more. He has got the Reincarnate here, and well, he's going to get popped. The slow onto Sing Sing and Pycat just straight in the face with the Requiem as well. The Remnant out is there in time. And Bambo, has he found himself a Sing Sing? He has.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay. A Sing Sing did Remnant back across onto the dire side of the map, and Bambo was there ready and waiting at the Remnant.
Yeah, it's just MFF are unbelievably far behind. Their lineup, I think, could have functioned if maybe the lead wasn't quite this substantial and maybe have defended their high ground a few times. But again, the early game fights just did not favor them. Even mid, when they were looking at going in with an RP on 3, and Sing was maybe like 5 seconds late to the fight, if he's there on time, they maybe just kill all 3 of those heroes straight away. A lot of fights were actually won by very narrow margins in this game, and put 4CL in a position with their lineup that they're able to get Roshan because of Wraith King and Shadow Fiend, and they just non-stop pressured after that point. Also, we have to give a shout out to Bambo because his blink timing and Arcanes were actually so fast for an offlane shaker. Like 1530 Arcane's blink and he showcased that he had a really nice echo slams in this game so far.
Oh, yeah.
I think those factors alone just put 4CL in a huge lead right now.
Top tower is under attack.
Let's see what the plan is now for 4CL now. Pycat, he did just invest in a smoke for the team. And it's just coming out of the curry, and we'll see if they're going to use that straight away. Looks like they're going to hold off. Roshan, of course, still a bit of time before we're going to see him come back up. A minute until we can see how long it is going to be. And MFF themselves are actually smoking up here. And they have got everything at their disposal. They've got all the ultimates online.
I mean, Sing still hits very hard. Like, having Empower with Daedalus Battle Fury is not a small amount of damage, so if they can do something and get some map influence back, maybe there's a chance.
I'm going to look around the Dire jungle here, but I'm going to find anything, unfortunately, here for the Radiant. 4 Clovers, they're well out of the way and grouping up towards the bottom themselves. So 4 Clovers avoiding this fight quite nicely for them, and already the base, it's starting to not look in the greatest of shapes here as all the lanes pushing in from the Dire. And 4 Clovers looks like they're making their way over and maybe even ready to find the base. Or at this point, the 4 Clovers just play it safe and say, we'll wait until the Aegis.
You can wait until Roshan. You can make MFF come to you. I think when you're that far ahead, that's probably the safest way to play it. Just to make the other team fight on your terms. You know, it's not like we're coming and knocking on your door a little bit early. If we make a mistake, we can maybe spend some buybacks to get Roshan anyway, but at least MFF are, in that sense, doing some economical damage. Whereas previously, they kind of just lose every single engagement for the last, I'd say, 10, 15 minutes or so, maybe even longer. But yeah, it's going to be pretty soon. We're going to see potentially the last real team fight here. And Sing is still pretty much just split pushing away. I mean, the one nice thing for this game is that it's kind of hard for 4CL to catch him because they don't want to have to go back for him at this point.
Smoke gets dispelled on Pycat, and he'll just blink himself in. Starts to get the punches through. Nico with the stun onto Gabat. That's your vengeful down at the start of this fight. 45 seconds here for Gabat. No buyback. Now 4 Clovers. Looks like they'll just make the move towards the top and try and sort out getting these megas. Yeah, as you said, there's a big push coming out from MFF on the top lane.
They can just hit the tower, though.
They need to come and fight. They need to do something about this Monkey Freedom Fighters, as this is going to be their final set of racks, looking to be in a bit of trouble. They need the perfect combo. Change on Taniqua, but he's got that Reincarnate. And he's also got EGM backing him up on the Dazzle if necessary.
Is under attack. Radiant's top
There we go,
tower
tier 3
has
down. Just a slow siege here from 4 Clovers, and MFF unable to really punish it at this point.
Yeah, with exposed racks and creeps flooding in from mid and bottom, 4CL are in a fantastic position. They can just kill the creep wave as it spawns, and they know that top will eventually push out due to help of the tower. And Nico with that reincarnation is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just
He
throw
just
abilities
doesn't
at
care.
me.
There'll be a skewer on Nico, bringing him back, and well, the cold embrace is there from Saxa. Nico's going to be fine for the moment. Shallowgrave as well, just creating the spaces. Pycat comes back in, looking for the right clicks onto Gabat, won't quite be able to find him. And Nico's still alive there, hasn't lost the Reincarnate yet, now he will. Demon gets the crush, takes down the Wraith King for the first time. But half the racks now have gone. That's the range racks gone from the top lane. Just the melee racks left standing. And 4 Clover's going to be feeling very,
I really
very
like this discipline, though, from 4CL. They say, okay, reincarnation's down. They didn't actually try to engage on us. We'll just wait another 40 seconds for it to come back up.
Okay, Sing is gone. He is absolutely gone. Bambo with the initiation, double kill, add a third one in. GG's called.
Nicely done.
And nice RP. It's a nice RP.
He got the 5-man RP.
That was nice RP. There we go. Just a little bit too late after GG. And well, 37-13. 4 Clovers take the game. And just all a little bit too much there for MFF.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this game from a spectator perspective, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, 4CL totally just rolled over this game. But a lot of it was because of individual plays. And again, fights that were very close to going in MFF's favor during the first, 20 minutes or so. If they had gotten even one of those engagements going their way, we could have seen a very different scenario where Sing is able to get to a point where having the Empower on the Ember is actually more of a threat during the early mid-game. But you got to hand it to Bambo, especially, and Pycat. They played phenomenal games.
Yeah, absolutely. That offlane shaker at the start you were talking about, he's just got the momentum and did so much for the movement. And yeah, Pycat, Shadow Fiend, pretty damn good. 20 kills, 10 assists, and only died 3 times. But
well, he got a triple kill at like 10 minutes in or something like that.
And I mean, just the composition as well. The fact that Saxa and EGM did so much in terms of keeping PyCat alive on the front lines, and Nika as well, proven to have a pretty strong game, 6-1 as well. I think they'll be very happy with that one. And of course, we will see both teams moving forward into future best of threes. But obviously, 4 Clovers going in with the upper hand as they take the series 1-0. Back over to you guys on the panel.
Take the right fights. That's what PPD said. That was a key for this game, and I believe for some people, for some teams, it went a bit better than for others. One team was right, one team was left. Let's go to the let's go to the replay straight away to show what I mean. Tell us, Lumi, what happened?
Oh, we're back to us here.
No, we're going to the replay.
So the right fight's being brought up by Magnus. He looked for a lot of opportunity with RP, especially with the first one after the smoke. But for me, the MVP for this game has been the Dazzle. EGM says, I want to kill them all, but he's actually saving them all. They always end up getting the main target kill, but they just take them such a long time because of the Grave that allows Shadow Fiend to get off the Requiem. In this fight, he didn't actually get the Grave off, but it didn't matter because there you go, the double Requiem, the first one and then the Death. Remember the first one where they actually went for the Shadow Fiend, he got a triple kill because of the Grave. So I feel like Dazzle has been such an impactful hero in this particular game.
Yeah, I agree. Yapsor actually stole the Requiem. I was like this close to casting it in that fight as well.
Shout out to my boy Yapsor. The first 2 kill, the lift into the Skewer, that was amazing. The lift into solo kill against Wyvern, that was really good. Late games, double Requiem seals, double Wyvern ult skills. But he's just a Rubik, man. He's just a Rubik.
I think MFF actually put up a really good fight.
Yeah.
Like the swaps into the Skewer under the tier 4 towers, you know, they had pretty good high ground defense. But in the end, just having the Dazzle, Solar Crest, healing him up with the Winter Wyvern, and having one front lighter instead of your whole team, it's just like, what are you meant to do as a Magnus? You know?
The problem is they actually did what they could do on defense. I think MFF played a really good defensive game when they were in their base, but you're playing with a lineup where you very much depend on landing an RP. And the enemy team has 2 heroes that can individually take turns at front line. You can send the Wraith King until he uses Reincarnation, you can send the Shadow Fiend or vice versa, or you can do it in a lot of ways as long as you don't stack up. Just send one guy in with Crest on, you cast Weave, stand 2,000 range away, and then, oh, he's taking damage, walk in, cast the Grave if you feel like. And the enemy team's like, they have to waddle them down over such a long time. They have to use Swap, Skewer, multiple stun cooldowns to maybe get him to get Grave, and then they have to kill him after.
There was so many times they swapped Skewer back to the tier 4. Rubik lifted him further back into the tier 4, and I think Shadow Fiend just walked out.
No,
Just Blink hold and brace him, right?
And that was it.
I think they played incredibly well on defense, honestly. I saw that game as being over earlier than it was, but with a couple of good holds, they at least delayed it, but it never seemed like they were coming back into the game.
It was very difficult, especially like their whole team actually revolved around the people clumping up. You know, having the Ember Spirit, you want to do that amazing slide of fist damage, and then it just never happened.
Now, one of the players that we mentioned we had to look out for was Sexy Bambo, and we can actually look out for him because he is about to appear next to us on the panel for a winner's interview. Bambo, welcome to the panel. Yeah, put it on. Congratulations on your game.
Thanks.
A lot of fighting.
They were dodging one lot.
Too much for your opinion?
Too little. Want more fighting.
Too much dodging of
too
the
much
fights.
dodging.
So you were going high ground against the Magnus, which obviously is the Rise Magnus. It's the scariest thing. How did your team plan to deal with that, or just go?
Just, as long as we split the fights and don't stack up, it should be fine because the Ember doesn't do much, the Magnus doesn't have really openings, so just keep fighting split and they'll never get a chance to kill us.
How do you always get so much farm early on? Because you had a 16-minute Blink Dagger.
I don't know, I just farm, I just play the game. It just happens.
I wish it worked that easy for my pubs. It's just, it just happens.
I think in this game you had a couple of really good teamfight fishers early on that got you a lot of assist gold.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask, in that teamfight, I think you remember this moment when inside your jungle on the Dire side, you blink and your echo is like 200 range off.
I know.
What's the thing you think in that moment when you use the echo slam? What's the
Like,
first
I
thought?
just, the moment it happened, I just fuck it, just fissure all of them. The second best option, you know. But I clicked like an inch too far. That's why like it got way less.
In the draft, Bambo, you knew they were going to pick Magnus, did you, the whole way?
The moment they picked Rubik, we were 100% sure they're gonna
Yeah.
pick Magnus. Actually, you know the Dazzle pick?
Yeah.
He thought it was a ban, so he wanted to ban Dazzle. But then he picked it, he was like, oh my god.
It ended up doing really well
It
for you
worked out
guys.
really
it worked
well.
out, so
That's ridiculous.
the stars aligned.
I'm not
I
sure
guess.
if you want to tell us and admit to that. You should have been like, oh yeah, the Dazzle pick was good the whole time.
But imagine they won with this. So imagine what they can do next.
Yeah, if
Okay,
they actually
so-
pick the heroes.
I do have a question because the way that you play a lot of times, like with Tiny, Shaker in this case, you go in, you drop your combo, and then you like back out.
Yeah.
But you're never gone. You come back again. So like, what is the timing that you're looking for? Is it when your spells come off cooldown? Is it when your items come off cooldown? Or just when you feel like it?
I usually focus on like certain targets.
Okay.
And when I see an opening to go on them, I'll just go. And of course, I need to wait my cooldowns. But the moment an opening shows, I'll just jump in.
So in this game, who was like your primary
It
target?
was mostly Ember, Magnus, and probably Sardar.
Okay.
Just the 3 cores.
Yeah.
So next series, you're going to go up against Team Vega. You confident for that? Best of 3? More confident with the best of 3 than best of 1, perhaps?
It's probably more confident, but best of ones are more like someone locks out sometimes, but we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well.
Well, you are in the winner's bracket, so at least you still have a chance after that if you shouldn't win. And otherwise, of course, you'll make it to the winner's bracket tomorrow and you don't have to play anymore. You have the rest of the day off.
That's
It's
the
also
dream.
pretty cool indeed. You can walk around DreamHack here. As the lights have gone out, by the way, officially DreamHack Winter 2015 has started. But I wish you good luck in your next series. We are actually going to take a look at the brackets to see where the teams stand now. And there we go. Whoa. That is a mic drop if I've ever seen one. We have, of course, got Vega Squadron taking on 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun in our next series. It's going to be a best of 3, so 4 Clovers can stay on stage, and it will be Vega that just has to set up before we can start our next series. And of course, in the lower bracket, also best of 3, so also a bit of comfort there, with Monkey Freedom Fighters taking on Team Empire. Surprises so far?
They just look so disciplined. When we've seen them play online, like they were all kind of like
Yeah, where's the
crazy.
clowny place that you were
Yeah, exactly.
expecting?
And this was like amazing. Like they played together so well. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it just worked so well.
I think the reason they look a lot more disciplined here is that there's a very clear-cut game plan and a very clear-cut way of playing against the lineup they were up against. It was way more defined. I think what makes for the more clowny, as you say, more chaotic games is both teams have heroes that are really good at fighting, but they're good at skirmishing with all of their lineup. But this time around, it's just very easy for 4 Clovers to see, okay, this is the danger. We also heard Bambo, right? Okay, we just need to not cluster up, let's take our time, and we're going to be fine. They took Roshan's, very methodical, straightforward. I think going up against Vega, it's going to be different. I don't think Vega will be drafting the same way, and I don't think they will be giving the same kind of style away necessarily. So
The other thing is they've been playing with a big advantage. Like once the early fights kind of settled, the Shadow Fiend had a mech, you had the Aegis, then it's just like, okay, we know we have to lead. We just have to go do the safe thing and push.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about in the first series, actually. Having the Shadow Fiend mech just kind of brings the whole team together as a unit.
I'm actually surprised that Shadow Fiend got let through because it's been the most picked and banned, or most banned hero period throughout the major. So I don't expect him to get let through many more times in this one.
Well, we're going to find out if it's going to be let through later on in the tournament, because we're going to go for a break before our winner's bracket finals here of the first double elimination bracket. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.